कोई ना बोल रहा क्यों जा रही है बाहर, फिर हम जाऊंगा ना दूसरे। अभी सर मैं तो लाइव कर दिया, लाइव हो गया।
ऐसा करना, अर्श गोयल को पिन कर देना, बाकी बता देना, मतलब समझे? अर्श गोयल का जो होगा उसको पिन कर देना। सबका नोटिफिकेशन चला गया होगा, तो मेरे पास भी आ जाएगा। मैंने बोला तो मतलब उधर जाएगा।
If we have Arsh Goyal among us, and so I will be starting with
I think you're on mute.
sir, we will be starting soon. Yeah, now it is. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible, Ayush.
I welcome you, sir, over here. Like on behalf of training and placement cell, we'll be starting soon with the session.
Okay.
Let people join
Sure.
for a minute or two.
Sure.
Guys, the limit.
हेलो अर्श भैया।
हाय सूरज।
तो मिल चुके हैं हम लोग पहले एक बार
सेशन में ना, ऐसे मीट में शायद।
यस सर।
आई रिमेम्बर।
Guys,
So you all are from?
We
Yes?
are all are from Guru Ghasidas Vidyalaya. The meeting is happening parallelly over YouTube as well. So if you don't get the chance to enter over here, you can join. Like you can join the session from there as well.
Maybe we can start in 2 to 3 minutes. Ayush?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we will start within a minute or two.
Sure.
I should we start now?
Sure.
And so thank you so very much, Arsh, for joining, for accepting our invitation and coming over here for giving an insightful session. So I welcome you over here under the training and placement cell of SoSET GGV, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, and this is going to be an insightful session for all of the one. So I guess all of Arsh, you are someone who don't need an introduction. So even then who don't know about Arsh, let me introduce Arsh over here. Arsh is currently a software engineer at Samsung, and apart from that, he's a graduate from NIT Jalandhar and gold medalist as well. And he create content over YouTube, having a subscriber count more than 6,000 plus. So that's all about it. And Arsh, if I missed something, like adding to your achievement, so please add it to it. And so
Thank you.
let's start.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
What we did, Arsh, yeah. So like what we did, Arsh, is like before starting the session, we circulated a Google form asking people like what they would like to ask to you. So based on that, we are having a bunch of questions from people from the whole college itself. So we'll be asking you those and throughout the session. And if you people have some queries to us and they would like to have some questions which they missed in the Google form, like they missed filling the Google form, so they can drop in the chat box over here, or they can drop in over the YouTube live as well. So without any further delay, let's get started. And like before I move ahead, like this is the second time meeting you, Arsh, over such a conversation. Like the first time I met you over like the Scalar Discord server, if you remember.
Okay.
Like we had an interview session over there, and you came over there over the Discord voice channel, and we had an intro sort of thing over there.
Got it.
So,
that was I guess some 5-7 months back, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got it.
So let's get started. The first question from the audience is like, what's a good way to approach the question on your sheet? How much time should I invest on a single problem?
See, so what I would suggest is like the major thing that you should keep in mind before thinking of solving any question is, firstly, let's say the sheet is divided in such a way that you have topic wise categorization as well as difficulty wise categorization. Let's say you start with the very first topic, that is arrays. So if you think of starting with arrays, so the first thing that you should do is you should have your fundamentals clear of arrays. Like you should know how to declare an array, how to solve basic problems in an array, how to traverse in an array. So all these things are prerequisites, I would say. So for these prerequisites, try reading out material on internet available. If you haven't, like if you are the first time doing questions based upon arrays, or if you're first time doing questions based upon stacks or queues, make sure your fundamentals are clear. What exactly is a stack, how to insert elements in a stack, how to remove elements from a stack, what is push operation, what is pop operation, what is stack queue ka STL. So all these things you should have already in your kitty. Matlab you should know all these things. After, like, from where to learn all these things, there can be multiple resources, like, right? If you want to, like, if you think that reading from books is good, you can go for books. If you feel that, like, nowadays very rare people read books, we have a lot of good editorials on different websites, so you can go for any of those editorials on different websites. And like, make sure that you know in and out of that data structure at least, what exactly does it do, what all functions it have. Then only we can start approaching a question, right? So next thing is how to do a question, right? So once you read the problem statement, once you read the question, try taking a notebook and a pen. Like the first thing is you should try to solve that problem on a piece of paper. Try understanding the question first with the given input, given output, what all things can be done to make the solution. Then go on for the logic. Then think of the logic. This can be the logic, or this can be the logic. We can do it by this way. We can do it by this way. And then come up with your code. So for writing code also, try writing a pseudo code type of a structure on your notebook. Then move on to your IDE to code. So this should be an ideal way of how you should approach a particular problem. Start from easy problems, try solving 5-10 easy problems, then move on to medium, and probably you will be able to, once you complete all the easy problems and medium problems, then you will have a very good understanding of that data structure, how to proceed with any problem of that particular data structure. And so after that, you can proceed in such a way.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice to hear. Ash, I just wanted to know, like, what was the main thought in mind, like in yours? Like, you started with this particular sheet and asking training and placements to join over there and something like that. So, what was the actual motive behind starting this?
See, Ayush, the major thing behind this is what has been happening from the past some time is like I have visited some of the colleges offline also. The major thing that I found there was lack of awareness. Students were good. What exactly is the mindset of a student is he comes to college, like he comes from class 10th, class 12th. The major criteria of his merit was CGPA, right? He used to study so hard, gets a good CGPA, and that's it. Whenever he comes into college, then again that same thing is there in his mind here. I should, whatever the college is teaching me, I should start studying that. I'll get a job ultimately. So that it's not exactly the thing. They were not majorly aware of the things. They were working very hard. Might be working upon something that is not relevant. So this sheet, the first thing was to create awareness. So creating awareness on how we are creating awareness, first of all, like this is a kind of a challenge that will help people maintain their consistency. Along with that, they will have some goals set. If we have some goals set, let's say in 2 months or 3 months, we'll be solving these many problems, or we'll be, look, there's some kind of motivation at the end of the day when we try doing something, we see that our day is productive, right? So that kind of motivation was first thing, along with awareness. So this is very important. Secondly, students were finding problem in, like, they were having these 2-3 things. I'm not able to manage my time, I am I procrastinate a lot, and I am not able to be consistent. So these 3 things are, I've tried to cover up through this challenge. Firstly, if we talk about procrastination, right? Procrastination, when it comes is like I will start doing it today, then I haven't done it today, I'll move on to tomorrow, then again day after tomorrow, so the weeks pass on. So this is basically a challenge that can be a part of your peer learning. Let's say if in your college, you are the one who is doing this challenge, your friends who are aware, who might look into what my friend is doing, so he might join along with you, right? So when 2 people join, so this can be a chain throughout the college, and many students might participate and benefit through this. So procrastination thing is, how procrastination can be removed is, let's say if you feel that your friend is working very hard, so why should you not? So that procrastination can be removed. Time management is in such a way that there's a specific time defined. You have to do so many questions in a day, or you have to update it on your social media. Why that thing was important, right? Firstly, if you are doing it on your own, there might be some times for 1 day or 2 days you haven't done anything, right? After that you stop doing that, and the entire motivation behind it goes. So updating it means you are accountable to somebody. You will have to answer to somebody why you are coming up with this challenge, or what was the reason that you started up with this challenge. So people would be asking you, yeah, you were doing the challenge, so you will have to answer them, right? So that answerability or that accountability also makes you push more, that you will have to do what you have already taken a challenge up. So that procrastination is done, time management is done, consistency is key. You will be solving these many problems, so daily you will have to solve some number of problems. So these are the I identified these are the problems that students are facing, why students are not able to cope up with placements, or they're not able to prepare well for examinations. And this is the most crucial time. If I talk about the batch of 24 and 23, if you study for these 2 to 3 months, then after that we will see a lot of companies hiring or opportunities coming for internships and placements. And at that time, if you'll start preparing, so you will lose upon a lot of opportunities. I don't want you to lose upon opportunity. If there is something, so you should be prepared enough that you will be able to get it, right? Because maybe opportunities are limited. So if they are limited, so from those limited opportunities, my preparation should be the best. I should be able to get that at any cost. So this was majorly the thought behind this entire program, and this has been very, very successful. I have already many college training and placements, many coding clubs and all. They have started up with this challenge. More than if I talk about on today, so 55 colleges have collaborated, who have officially collaborated. Uske alawa, multiple students are doing it individually. So I have a count of around 4,000 students who have actually registered for this as of now. So they might be doing, some of them might not be putting out on social medias, but exactly there are this is the count. These are the GitHub profiles that I have, GitHub repositories that have been created for this particular challenge.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt it's a success for you, and for, like it's really beneficial for the others like who are pursuing it. And I can see like in my own home feed as well, like over LinkedIn, like there are always 2 to 3 posts regarding the Greco internship and Greco placements. And the best thing I like about this initiative was like posting it on social media. Like it's a human psychology. Like if you tell out to people like this is what I'm doing, so people like become curious about like yeah exactly what you're doing. Like you're showcasing it to public, so that's a great thing. So moving back to the questions again, Arsh. So the question from someone was: is competitive programming enough to get placed in top MNCs?
Yes, if you feel that you are a very good competitive programmer. So if you talk about competitive programming, then you should be the best. It's not like that you are saying that competitive programming is enough for placements, but you are not a very good competitive programmer also, and you don't do development also. That's not the thing either.
Exactly. The next question on the list is: I feel very low when I am not able to solve problems even after practicing DSA, CP, and giving contests. What's the best way to keep myself motivated and consistent?
See, so this motivation should be related to what exactly is your aim. Matlab, you should look forward to a broader vision. This happens with everyone. Nobody is perfect. Even if you have practiced a lot, even if you have been giving contests, even if you have been solving questions, solving daily problems, challenges. So there might be a problem that you might not be able to solve. Give it more time. First of all, give it more time to think if you can think upon it, but don't be motivated. Like, give it a specific, like you think it for let's say 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So it depends upon how much time you give to the particular question. Try thinking upon the pros, try thinking upon how to write that code. If you're not able to get, maybe you can go for the editorial, that I would suggest, because getting demotivated is like, this demotivation is a very, very common factor. So if on that day you are like, let's say there's a day on which you tried solving some problems and you're not able to solve even a single problem, right? This happens a lot of times. So what should you do on that day is try reading out some concepts, try reading out, let's say you go onto any website and try reading about data structures. You will find a lot of information that you might not know. So at the end of the day, you will find.
So I guess the question is being answered. Moving on, the question is like which language to prefer for DSA? Is Python a good option?
There's no problem choosing Python for DSA. What is the major idea is like this is a question that comes to people who are in the first year. Should I start learning C++? Should I, like, they have learned C already in the first semester. Should I go for C++ or Java or Python? It can be any, it can be C++, it can be Java, it can be Python. Why we prefer, like, why generally people, you might have seen a lot of content, right? A lot of people are making content on YouTube or on editorials. That's majorly in C++ and Java. So we prefer going for C++ and Java because there might be lesser resources available for Python. But there's no harm doing the same question in Python. You can code it in Python as well in your coding tests, in your interviews. So there's no problem. Choose any of these languages; they're all equal.
I just want to know, like, there are so many content creators over YouTube who used to post, who used to have this fancy titles like best language in 2022. So what are those? Like, is it something happening, or it's just for clickbait, something like sort of thing?
So if you talk about best language of 2022, so if you'll go and watch that video, so they'll not tell you about which particular language is the best language. They might be telling you about what are the benefits of, let's say, JavaScript, what are the benefits of Python, what are the benefits of C++, why should prefer Java. There's no best thing you can say that this is the best thing, and like everything has replacement. Like sometime back people used to write code in PHP. Where is PHP now? So everything is replaceable. You might see some more language, like 2 years back Ruby on Rails was very, very famous. So now nobody's writing code on Ruby on Rails. So it has to change from time to time. But these fundamentals, like, focus on fundamentals rather than just writing these syntaxes. Syntaxes are like just a game of 7 to 10 days. You can learn any language in 7 to 10 days. Major thing is your fundamentals should be clear, and in almost all the languages the fundamentals are same. What are the conditional statements, how to write these loops and all. So that those fundamentals are very important. Try clearing those fundamentals in any language, and then if you want to switch from one language to another, then you can do in 7 to 10 days. Because once you get into a job, you might have been coding in C++ forever, but in your company you might be writing code in C# or JavaScript or Java. So it you'll have to switch from one language to another throughout your career. Maybe if you switch from one company to another, the tech stack is entirely different, so you need to learn another language. So if your fundamentals are strong, there's no language that is best or not best. You can learn any language. That's the major key that you need to understand.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the change of syntax from one language to the other. Yeah, so moving on to the next question, the question is how to prepare for advanced topics of DSA like BP, graph, and tree to gain confidence. How these topics are important for placement.
See, nowadays, if I talk about the level of competition that is coming up, right? If we talk about the same competition 2 years back or 3 years back, so if we hear the topic that there was a question from dynamic programming, bit masking with DP, right? So उस time पे ऐसा लगता है कि this is a very very tough topic. Companies won't be able to ask. They won't be asking. So scenario was such. But now what has happened is due to this COVID and due to people becoming more active on social media, people becoming more aware, this entire YouTube wave that you have seen. So now people know that they have to prepare these topics as well, and companies are also asking these topics. So it's not like you will not have to prepare. So these are very very important topics from nowadays. If we'll talk about online assessments, you will majorly find problems from these topics, right? Uske baad, in interviews, problems might not be very very tough, but still if you have your basics clear, so you should not leave any topic. If you will leave any topic, no, so every time when you're sitting in an interview, you'll have that lack of confidence here. If the interviewer might ask something from that topic, so what will happen? So your entire confidence will go low. So don't leave any topic. You will have to give, like, if let's say you feel that dynamic programming is difficult, so you might need to give more time to dynamic programming. Try solving more problems on dynamic programming, and slowly things will improve.
Yeah, that's so realistic. Us like if we are not gone through any of the topics, it's a constant fear like that makes us scary. Like what would happen like if such questions comes in the interview. So exactly that's something to worry about. So moving on to the next question, somebody asked, what's the scope of data science in the IT industry nowadays? Do they hire new grads for such roles?
See, data science is a good field. I would not say it's not a good field. Once you are into IT, right, most of the companies hire for software development engineers, SD1s, right? SD1 is a general term that is defined, and you can be given any task once you are into the company. Maybe you are into a team that is working upon these machine learning algorithms or into data science. You might be working in a team that is working upon a full stack development project, or kuch aisi team that is working upon cloud. So you can't categorize which field you want to get into. But as of now, if we talk about freshers, right? So companies, like in your college, what are the subjects that you study of data science? You just have maybe one subject that is machine learning. That also might be an elective subject. If you want to pursue machine learning, you can go for that subject, or there might be a single subject. Why should a company hire a data scientist who has just studied one single subject in college? Why should, what do they prefer is they prefer people who are pursuing their masters or who are pursuing their PhD. So somebody is pursuing a master's in artificial intelligence or machine learning, so that person has spent 2 years studying all the topics. So that's he or she is a more suitable candidate for a company, right? Why would they go to a normal BTech college in which, let's say, there are 100 students in computer science branch, and out of those 100 students, they are looking forward to find here if we get somebody who would fit for a data scientist role. There might be 1 or 2%. So it would be very difficult for a company to search among BTech graduates ki jiska bahut zyada interest hai in data science. So rather what they do is they go to campuses who have masters or PhD in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and get good candidates out of them. So it's an easy task for companies also. Try thinking from that perspective. If you feel that you are very very interested in data science and you want to pursue in this field, start with SD job. Maybe 1 year, 2 years down the line, you can move to any of the roles that you wish to. If we talk about BTech graduates, so companies visit BTech colleges also, but if we talk about for very few companies and very few colleges. So that's the criteria. You won't find companies hiring off campus for data scientist role. You might get that opportunity in very new startups, but if you talk about big companies, you won't be seeing any opportunities, at least for BTech graduates.
I guess the one who asked this question might have answered. So then moving on to the next question, how do I bear failures and rejections as it sometimes feels like giving up?
This is also again like it takes me back to that motivation wala question ki how you to keep yourself motivated. So rejections, like it's not that anyone have, like people start with people sit in a company and they crack it and it's done. So it does not happen with everyone. There are people who face multiple rejections. Like I have seen in my college ki there were people who, like there was a person who was very good at computer science fundamentals. He, like I was particularly from EC, he was from CSE. So he had around a GPA of 9.3, 9.4, highest CGPA in computer science. Good at programming, good at data structures, knew all the concepts. But company started visiting campus. He sat for all the processes, not selected, was able to clear the online assessment. Maybe in the second round of interview or third round of interview, he was rejected. This kept on for complete 1 year. He was not able to secure any internships, and there were people who were not very good at programming, they were able to get it. Again, the same thing happened in the placement season also. Like the starting valley companies who were giving good packages, they all went on and he was not able to get, although he was the most capable one. But ultimately at the end, you get to a place if you have worked hard. Now he's currently, I guess he's working in Salesforce as an AMTS. But on campus, he was placed in Nokia. Nokia was not giving a very good package. So he was placed in Nokia, but there were his friends who were placed in very, very good companies. So now he's like ultimately has reached Salesforce. It's a very, very good company if you talk about. So you should think from the perspective that every rejection is a learning experience. You get to learn a lot. Like this time, let's say an interviewer has asked you a problem, right? And you are not able to give a satisfying answer, or maybe you think that you have given a satisfying answer, but still you are not selected. So that thought process, this mindset will help you understand कि यार next time में मुझे ये नहीं करना है, ये करना है. अगर इस type का question आता है, तो I should start with this and not this. So it's, I would say interviews are 40% luck and 60% hard work. Interviews, online test is your hard work. So there's no one can decline the fact that luck also plays a factor in interviews. So don't worry about anything. If you have worked hard at any point, like maybe you will face 10 rejections or 15 rejections, but ultimately you will be at a place where you should be. So don't worry about these rejections. Take it as a learning experience and try to move on. Don't think on that interview much. ठीक है, try getting some points कि यार this might be the reason of failure, this might be the reason of failure. Note it down and just move on. There are unlimited opportunities. Don't worry about, don't think on and pressurize yourself on कि I was not able to clear that interview. It happens with everyone. Make sure that you keep yourself motivated and just move on from that fear. It's very difficult. Maybe you can stay in that sigma for one day. That night you might not sleep, but no problem. You'll have to move on ultimately because next company is waiting for you. So that thing should be there in your mind. Here, I have learned something from it. Now I'll not do this mistake in the next interview, and try practicing mock interviews, because majorly what happens is you might be doing the same mistake in all the interviews, right? Try taking mock interviews, because interviewers don't give feedbacks in most of the cases. So try giving mock interviews to your friends. They might be able to identify that this is the problem that you are having while giving interviews. You should change this. You should he or she can suggest you some things. So try giving mock interviews. They will be very, very helpful if you feel that you are doing all things correct and still getting rejected.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Arsh. Like failures are the part of life, and giving up shouldn't be an option. Instead, like you try hard and don't repeat the mistake in the next interview. Having mock interview is the best way to cope up with that. So there's an announcement for the audience over here. Like if you have any questions, you can drop your questions in the comment box. I will be taking up those questions in the end of the session.
So how many students here are actually doing the challenge? I just wanted to understand, and which year they are in, second year or third year?
Let me give you the number, Arsh. Like there are 82 students from our college who are pursuing this challenge. Assistant with that, and we have set some rules apart from that. Like post for LinkedIn or somewhere, like he will be getting a penalty and getting more than 2 penalty, he will be removed out of the group, and a detailed report will be sent to the HOD, and after having the consent from the HOD, he will get in that group again. So those are some of the rules, and the people majorly are from third year and second year. So they are following that particular sheet. And the people joined over here are majorly from third year and fourth year or second year majorly. And majorly they are from CS and IT. Like few people are from EC, chemical and mechanical as well.
Okay.
So that's it. Moving on, our new graduates ask the questions on system design.
Some companies, not all. If you talk about Microsoft, right? If you're interviewing for Microsoft full time, so there will be a round in which you might be asked to design some systems, or maybe it's not HLD, it's LLD. If you're very good at OOPS concepts, right? If you know how to design classes, how to interlink classes, how to write attributes, so you might be good at it. Like I've seen people who didn't know that it was a system design question, but they took it as a question of data structures and solved it. So it's not that explicitly you will have to learn a lot of things. There are some things in system design. I have recently made a video that tells you what exactly you should learn, what are the parts. Like you should be good at concepts of OOPS, these polymorphism, inheritance and all. Should be able to, there are some design patterns, right? Once you study, once you complete your data structures, and you feel that you have time, so go and study those design patterns. They'll tell you and some basic problems like how to design crick bus, right? This was a recent question somebody was discussing with me. He was asked this question in Microsoft to design crick bus, right? So if you are designing some particular model, so what all things should be there? Like if you're designing crick bus, so what all classes you will build for designing crick bus, right? And how you can interlink those classes. So that's majorly what it brings us down to. So system design might be asked, but not for all companies. Very few companies ask it. Like if you talk about startups, like Flipkart has their round known as machine coding round, in which it's similar to low-level coding. Next, there is Swiggy. Swiggy, maybe there is 1 or 2 rounds in which you will be asked system design. Microsoft, there are 1 or 2 rounds in which you will be asked system design. Some companies, there is the case of system design. Some companies, it's just data structures, algorithms, and projects.
I guess.
आयुष एक मैं क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता हूँ सूरज एक क्वेश्चन मैं पूछना हेलो भैया उस दिन सेशन में क्वेश्चन छूट गया था भैया ये बता दो कि ये सैमसंग का मतलब रिक्रूटिंग प्रोसेस क्या होता है अभी 2023 बैच के लिए सैमसंग का वो अभी कब ये
मतलब सैमसंग का ऐसा है यार सैमसंग इज हैज मल्टीपल ऑफिसेस they have an office in Noida, they have an office in Delhi, they have an office in Gurgaon, and Bangalore they have 2 to 3 offices. इतने ऑफिसेस हैं थ्रू आउट इंडिया. सबसे पहले ये क्या मतलब द मेजर हायरिंग प्रोसेस फॉर सैमसंग इज फर्स्ट क्राइटेरिया इज दे आर हायरिंग ऑन कैंपस. इनका मेजर प्रोसेस ऑन कैंपस होता है. ऑफ कैंपस में दे विल कम टू यू ड्यूरिंग द लास्ट मंथ्स, मतलब अप्रैल मई जून में दे विल हायर फॉर लेफ्ट ओवर सीट्स. तो उसके लिए दे ओपन अप देयर ऑफ कैंपस अपॉर्चुनिटीज. अभी भी मतलब इफ इट्स मई राइट, तो मई जून के अराउंड ज्वाइनिंग्स वगैरह होती हैं, तो यू विल फाइंड ऑफ कैंपस अपॉर्चुनिटीज ऑफ SRI दिल्ली, SRI नोएडा, एंड ये थ्रू आउट मतलब तुम इफ यू आर फ्रॉम 2023 बैच तो तुम्हारे लिए ये मतलब नेक्स्ट ईयर में भी मतलब इनका प्रोसेस ओपन होगा. इसके अलावा इफ यू वांट टू गेट इनटू इट मतलब इनका एक प्रोग्राम होता है सैमसंग प्रिज्म, वो सेकंड ईयर में होता है. अगर सेकंड ईयर के स्टूडेंट्स हैं तो यू कैन सेंड आउट अ मेल टू सैमसंग कि यू वांट टू गेट योर कॉलेज रजिस्टर फॉर सैमसंग प्रिज्म, तो दे विल गेट योर कॉलेज रजिस्टर फॉर सैमसंग प्रिज्म. तो सैमसंग प्रिज्म के थ्रू क्या है कि वो 6 मंथ्स का मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम है विद सैमसंग. उसके बाद तुम्हें इंटरव्यू का चांस मिलता है. तो उसमें अगर इफ योर कॉलेज विल सेंड आउट अ मेल टू सैमसंग यू वांट टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट, तो they'll evaluate and they'll revert back to you कि तुम्हारा सैमसंग मतलब if they visit you for Samsung Prism, right, तो Prism के थ्रू कुछ बच्चे they'll take out and after that they'll get interviews. उसके बाद तुम्हारे कॉलेज से अच्छा रिलेशन बन जाता है तो they'll start visiting on campus. and इतना ज़्यादा कुछ वो नहीं है कि they go to very premium colleges, मतलब सब कॉलेजेस में मतलब काफ़ी सारे कॉलेजेस में जाती है. तो that's all about कि if they're getting good candidates from that college they'll get it on their list कि इस कॉलेज में विजिट करना. उसके बाद प्रोसेस में क्या होता है, प्रोसेस में मेजरली दे हैव वन क्वेश्चन का पेक्यूलियर क्वेश्चन होता है, 3 आवर्स में एक क्वेश्चन करना होता है. सो दैट्स ऑन देयर कोरियन प्लेटफॉर्म. क्या कोरियन प्लेटफॉर्म है, उसमें 3 आवर्स में एक क्वेश्चन करना है विदाउट द यूज ऑफ STL, मतलब उसमें तुम STL यूज नहीं कर सकते. तो उस क्वेश्चन में तुम्हें सारा कुछ स्टार्टिंग से यू विल हैव टू बिल्ड. अगर तुम्हें स्टैक यूज करने हैं तो क्लासेस लिखनी है स्टैक यूज की, सारे ऑपरेशंस लिखने हैं, तो इसलिए तुम्हें 3 घंटे मिलते हैं एंड एक क्वेश्चन होता है। इसमें भी टॉपिक्स जैसे बैक ट्रैकिंग, डायनामिक प्रोग्रामिंग, ये वाले सारे कुछ टॉपिक्स हैं जो मतलब जनरली पूछे जाते हैं। तो इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग पर्टिकुलरली फॉर दिस, तो रिकर्शन तुम्हारी बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए। रिकर्शन, बैक ट्रैकिंग, डायनामिक प्रोग्रामिंग इज व्हाट आई वुड से कि बहुत अच्छी होगी, तो मतलब तुम आराम से वो क्वेश्चन कर लोगे।
थैंक यू भैया, बहुत मतलब आप सपोर्ट करते हैं हम लोग को।
हाँ जी।
Thank you, Suraj, for asking the question. Ash, like there is a question from the previous discussion only. Like as you mentioned, right now Samsung used to see like which like are this particular college having some of the skilled candidates, and they start visiting over there. So I just wanted to know, like as you are the corporate research, like corporate relation manager at your college, so like what are the good ways, like what are some of the tricks you can give us to us, like so that we would be having some good relations with the HRs of the other companies and all.
So if we talk about maintaining good relations, right? So the first thing is कि try promoting all the off-campus drives in your college, right? If a company sees that this campus is giving me some good candidates in off-campus, first thing is you should focus on your, like if you want to give any advice to a training and placement, like I have been talking to different training and placement. First thing that I would say is you don't need to send out mails to companies, they won't reply you, right? You don't need to brand your college, they won't reply you. The first thing that you need to focus upon is your students, that they should study and they should be the best. Because let's say even if a company comes and they're not getting good candidates, so next year they won't visit. So to maintain those good relationships, first thing is work upon your students, that they are the best. If let's say a company visits and conducts a process of 100 students, at least they should find 7 to 10 good students. That should be the minimum criteria. That's first thing. Secondly, try like if currently companies are not coming to your college, there are multiple challenges that are being organized by companies. Like Flipkart will be coming up with the Flipkart Grid soon, right? Microsoft comes up with Engage. Multiple companies have their own programs that are off campus. So let's say if your college students participate in Grid this year and they perform extremely well, they have, let's say, some Surajmal, there's a college known as मतलब ये जो NCR वाले कुछ colleges है ना, so they have built their reputation in such a way कि उनके alumni बहुत अच्छी companies में गए हैं. उसके बाद companies have started visiting. Amazon, Microsoft, Atlassian, ये सारी companies उनके on campus visit करती हैं and they are tier 3 college. तो ऐसा क्या special है उनमें? There's nothing special. It's just that कि they have built that repo. उनके कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स अवेयर थे. उनके कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स अवेयर कैसे थे? बिकॉज दिल्ली एनसीआर में DTU है, IIIT दिल्ली है, NSIT है, IGTTW है, IIT दिल्ली है. तो उनका कल्चर ऐसा है, मतलब देयर आर लॉट ऑफ कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स इन दिल्ली. तो सेम बच्चा tier 3 कॉलेज का, MSIT, मेट का कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में जा रहा है, सेम बच्चा IIT दिल्ली का, NSIT, DTU का उस कॉलेज में जा रहा है. अब वहां पे एक जगह पे दोनों कॉलेज के बच्चे होंगे तो दे विल बी अवेयर, राइट? तो हम वही काम कर रहे हैं, हम वही अवेयरनेस आ रहे हैं. अगर लेट्स से तुम्हारे कॉलेज में कोई मतलब कल्चर नहीं है, राइट? कॉलेज में कल्चर नहीं है एंड तुम्हारे स्टूडेंट्स को पता ही नहीं है, अब वो बच्चे कैसे, मतलब मेट एंड MSIT कैसे इतने ज्यादा इंप्रूव हो गए? क्योंकि उनके स्टूडेंट्स वर अवेयर, उनके स्टूडेंट्स DTU NSIT के स्टूडेंट्स के साथ बैठने लगे एंड DTU NSIT के स्टूडेंट्स को उनके एलुमनाई से गाइडेंस मिलती थी. एंड स्लोली दिस होल प्रोसेस चेंज. एंड मतलब इट्स नॉट अ गेम की इस साल इफ यू ट्राई ऑन कि यार कंपनीज आ जाए तो कंपनीज आ जाएंगी, नहीं. It's a long process. मतलब एक बैच, like even if a single batch from your campus works out well, मतलब बहुत अच्छा चला जाता है, तो next year अपने आप first of all students will be aware कि यार this भैया from my college has got into Amazon इतने पैकेज पे, तो I can also try ना. अब तो मतलब if कॉलेज में ही हाईएस्ट प्लेसमेंट ही इतनी ज्यादा अच्छी नहीं है, कॉलेज में ही मतलब I have seen the mindset कि कॉलेज में 5-6 लाख is the highest placement. फिर बच्चे सोचते हैं कि 5-6 लाख is the minimum thing, 5-6 लाख हम मतलब 5-6 lakhs is the maximum thing that I can achieve. तो वो तो मुझे मिल ही जाएगा. सीनियर जो सीनियर 5-6 लाख में हुआ था वो भी बता देता कि यार ये चीजें पढ़ लो, हो जाएगा, कोई टेंशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. बस फिर वहीं पे गेम रुक जाती है एंड पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू मूव अहेड. तो इफ इवन अ सिंगल बैच ऑफ योर कॉलेज परफॉर्म्स आउट वेल, मतलब लेट्स से उसमें 2 या 3 या 4 बच्चे भी Amazon में हो गए, तो जूनियर बैच के यार कम से कम 10 बच्चे तो इस बात से मोटिवेटेड हो जाएंगे कि हमारे कॉलेज से भी कोई बच्चा प्लेसमेंट ले सकता. तो ये वाला माइंडसेट यू नीड टू डेवलप, ये वाला कल्चर यू नीड टू डेवलप इन योर कॉलेज, तो थिंग्स विल चेंज, राइट? इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि मतलब हमें कंपनी के HR की मेल दे दो, या हमें कंपनी के मतलब कितने सारे कंपनीज को मेल भेजना है, ब्रोशर में हमने इतना अच्छा सजा दिया सब कुछ. दैट डजंट वर्क आउट. द थिंग्स दैट वर्क आउट आर मतलब दैट आई हैव टोल्ड.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'll try implementing it in our college as well, and we will try improving the college culture which we have, like the coding culture which we have, and like things will definitely work out. Like I ensure that. So moving ahead, there are some general questions which are like how relevant are the different fellowship and the mentorship programs are, be it GSOC, be it LFX, and be it like GSOT and all. So is it worth investing time over there?
It is worth investing time. मतलब if I talk about first year second year, right, so first year second year में you have to explore everything. If you think that open source is good for you, you can go for these programs also. Like this year also, like yesterday or day before yesterday, I got a lot of messages कि GSOC में selection हुआ है, GSOC में selection हुआ है. तो programs are good, you get to learn a lot, my development skills बहुत ज़्यादा improve हो जाएंगी. बट ऐसा नहीं है कि यू शुड कॉम्प्रोमाइज समथिंग बिकॉज ऑफ इट. मतलब तुम्हारा पैरेलली अगर तुम प्लेसमेंट के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, प्लेसमेंट के लिए प्रिपेयर करते रहना है. एंड इफ यू फील दैट यार वो चल रहा है, सही चल रहा है, आई एम मोटिवेटेड इनफ, उसके अलावा आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, आई वांट टू एक्सप्लोर, मैंने कुछ एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी करना है, तो यू कैन गो फॉर दीज प्रोग्राम्स. दे आर ऑलवेज ओपन. यू विल गेट अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ मनी ऑल्सो विद इन योर कॉलेज. मतलब दे हैव अ वेरी गुड स्टाइपेंड. 1-1.5 लाख इज वॉट यू गेट, राइट, from these programs. And along with that you learn a lot of things, you work on actual projects. So दोनों चीजें एक साथ हो जाएंगी. डेवलपमेंट में तुम्हारे प्रोजेक्ट्स भी बन जाएंगे, तुम्हारे रिज्यूमे में जीसॉक का नाम भी आ जाएगा, प्लेसमेंट की तैयारी तुम्हारी चल रही है साथ साथ, एंड you will have that good amount of money in college also कि if you want to do anything else or not. तो try doing out things. If it works well for you तो continue करो, अगर नहीं करता है तो छोड़ दो, बट प्लेसमेंट की तैयारी कंटिन्यू करते रहना.
Yeah, exactly. Moving ahead, there's a question: how to avoid peer pressure? Say my friend got an internship.
Peer pressure अभी मतलब if you are in your second year ना, अभी तुम थर्ड ईयर में जाओगे, तो थर्ड ईयर में peer pressure start होगा. Let's say you are also preparing, your friend is also preparing. Even if a single student from your batch got an internship, let's say at Amazon, तो सारा बैच उसको ऐसे देख रहा होगा कि यार उसकी Amazon में लगी है, कैसे लगी है, ये भी तो हमारे साथ ही बैठता था, इसने ऐसा क्या स्पेशल किया है. या इसकी प्लेस मतलब लेट्स से अगर प्लेसमेंट वाला बैच की बात करें, 23 बैच की बात करें, तो प्लेसमेंट के लिए बैठ रहा होगा. तो अगर स्टार्टिंग में किसी बच्चे का गोल्डमैन सैक्स अमेज़न में लग गया, तो एक तो तुम्हारा कॉलेज उसको बढ़ा चला के बताएगा कि हाँ मतलब स्टूडेंट हैज गॉट अ प्लेसमेंट ऑफ 44 lakhs 45 lakhs, तो इतनी इज्जत मिलेगी ना उसको. देन यू विल रियलाइज कि यार हमने क्या ऐसा गलत कर दिया, व्हाट वाज द थिंग दैट वाज लैगिंग इन अस. मतलब हमने क्या मतलब व्हाट वाज द मतलब ये भी तो बच्चा हमारे साथ ही पढ़ रहा था, इसने भी हमारे साथ ही पेपर दिए, एग्जाम्स दिए हैं, और हमारे साथ यहाँ पे हुआ है. तो उस टाइम पे जो फीलिंग आती है ना, एक तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थोड़ा जेलसी वाला फैक्टर आता है कि यार ये बंदा ऐसे हो गया, मेरा नहीं हुआ. सेकेंडली पीयर प्रेशर इसलिए आता है क्योंकि फिर उस टाइम पे या तो कंपनीज और नई अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं दिख रही होती तुम्हें, एंड फिर पीयर प्रेशर में कई बार तुम अंडर परफॉर्म कर जाते हो. तो द थिंग इज दैट मतलब ये चैलेंज व्हाई आई हैव स्टार्टेड दिस चैलेंज. तो मेजर एम इस चैलेंज को स्टार्ट करने का यही था कि जो ये वाला टाइम है इसमें तुम्हारा कोई पीयर प्रेशर नहीं आएगा. मतलब ये मई जून जुलाई में कंपनीज नहीं आती इतनी खास, तो मई जून जुलाई इज योर प्रिपरेशन फेज. इस फेज में इफ यू विल वर्क हार्ड ना, इस फेज में इफ यू विल डू द थिंग्स दैट आर रिक्वायर्ड, तो फिर तुम्हारा वो पीयर प्रेशर वाला फेज खत्म हो जाएगा. वो तुम्हें करना ही नहीं पड़ेगा. एक कंपनी में नहीं हुआ तो यू विल हैव एन ऑप्शन फॉर सेकंड कंपनी, तुम्हारे दिमाग पे इतना प्रेशर नहीं पड़ेगा. प्रेशर में तुम अंडर परफॉर्म भी कर मतलब देयर आर चांसेस कि तुम इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म भी ना कर पाओ. तो दैट्स वाई मतलब ये 2-3 महीने हैं, मेक श्योर यू वर्क आउट वेल. एंड पीयर प्रेशर जैसी चीज मतलब माइट कम इनटू योर लाइफ, बट उसको अच्छे से हैंडल करना. इफ इट कम्स, अच्छे से हैंडल करने से मेरा मतलब है कि डोंट गेट डीमोटिवेटेड. ट्राई मतलब जितना तुम प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो उसको नॉर्मल वे से प्रैक्टिस करना. ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम बहुत ज्यादा एकदम से प्रैक्टिस करने लगे हो, दैट ऑल्सो वोंट वर्क. अपनी हेल्थ को तुम यू कांट कीप इट ऑन साइड. तो हेल्थ इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट, practice is also important. Try balancing out both and don't let yourself in that position of peer pressure. पहली चीज avoid that and just move on with your practice. तो ये 2-3 महीने बहुत अच्छे से मेहनत कर लो, everything will be all right.
Yeah, very well answered, Arsh. Like, yeah, that's a great way of handling this peer pressure, and it's going to come soon. Like, it's going to happen for sure, in everyone's life. So the next question is like, how do you manage creating content? Like, it's a personal question, Arsh. How do you manage creating content over YouTube along with the job?
It's a very subjective question. मतलब this has been asked to me a lot of times. तो इसमें क्या है? The major thing here is कि how well you are prioritizing things. मतलब it's not about कि मेरे पास 24 घंटे से ज़्यादा घंटे मिल जाते हैं मुझे तो मैं बना लेता हूँ. I'll have to work in office. मतलब सुबह 10 से लेके शाम को 5-6 बजे तक ऑफिस का काम होता है, राइट? उसके बाद there is an option for me, I can go and chill. मतलब मेरे पास ये भी option, I can go and Netflix. मतलब पैसे, there's no problem कि this YouTube thing is just because of money. Money is not a factor. Money is a side factor. Money is not an actual factor. I'm getting a good amount of money from my company. There's no need of me getting into YouTube. So major thing is कि first of all, अगर if somebody is doing YouTube and somebody, so you should have an internal motivation. मतलब I had this thing from the very start कि I like to talk to students, I like to build communities. मतलब in my college also I have been involved in such communities, taking workshops, जाके students को data structure पढ़ाना, जाके students को कुछ किसी technology पे पढ़ाना. So that thing was already there in me. So what happened was COVID came and everything was standstill. Nobody was there in college and I was missing out those events. I was missing out those things. So I came up with this channel and ultimately it worked out. उसके बाद टाइम मैनेजमेंट की ऐसी चीज है कि इफ यू टॉक अबाउट वीडियोस, राइट, आई डोंट क्रिएट वीडियोस ऑन वीकडेज, वीकेंड्स पे, सैटरडे संडेज आई विल हैव टू सैक्रिफाइस. इससे पहले भी आई हैव शॉट वन वीडियो दिस बिफोर कमिंग टू दिस इवेंट. सैटरडे संडेज में वीडियोस आर शॉट. वीकडेज में व्हाट हैपेंस इज आफ्टर माय ऑफिस आई एडिट ऑन द लाइक ऑन ड्यूरिंग नाइट्स एंड वो दिन में शेड्यूल हो जाती है वीडियो. तो इन दिस वे यू विल हैव टू मैनेज योर टाइम वेल ताकि यू कैन optimize upon जो तुम काम तुम कर रहे हो. मतलब I haven't seen any web series. मतलब I am not a very big fan of web series. I could have seen those web series. I have been मतलब ऐसे weekends पे I could have gone to movies, but I'm not doing that currently. Maybe in future I do, but you will have to decide कि what you exactly want to do. If you want to get to a point, if you have some goals, if you want to achieve something, so you will have to sacrifice upon something. So make sure कि जितना मतलब the time that you have, utilize it properly. Try to discipline yourself. That will not only help you here, but even if you join a company, that will ultimately help you.
That's so great to hear. Like, Arsh, you are someone who have a die-hard fan following over LinkedIn, over everywhere. Like, I could say, like, there's a craze in our college as well, like about you. When I told people like actually Arsh is coming over there to give a session, they were actually crazy about like, yeah, that's happening in real. And in even like most of the like there are multiple people who create content over YouTube and that this trend starts just after they get a good job at MNC and something like that. But in your case it's entirely different. Like people follow you because it's something like they connect with you. Like I don't know what's the factor in you, like but you are like someone who's awesome, like in both sense, like technically and in beat like be professionally or something like that. You are awesome.
Thank you so
That's
much.
what all my
Thank you.
There's another question from my end, Arsh, like the last one. So which type of answer companies expect when they ask where do you see yourselves in upcoming 5 years?
मतलब these are, I would say, मतलब ऐसे वो नहीं होते कि क्लीशे क्वेश्चंस हैं कंपनीज के. They have this thing in mind, they'll have to ask it. तो उनको पूछना ही है ऐसा कुछ. तो इसके लिए यू शुड प्रिपेयर दीज आंसर्स वेल. ऐसे कई बार ऑन द स्पॉट जाके यू माइट नॉट बी रेडी टू आंसर. सबसे पहली चीज है ऐसे आंसर्स के लिए ट्राई गेटिंग सम लाइफ इंसिडेंट्स. मतलब अपने लाइफ में लेट्स से फर्स्ट ईयर, सेकंड ईयर, थर्ड ईयर में तुमने कुछ ऐसा किया हो, कोई ऐसा इंसिडेंट ढूंढो दैट यू कैन रिलेट टू दैट आंसर. अब 5 years वाली चीज है, 5 years को तुमने एक्सप्लेन करना है. ऐसे सीधा आंसर तो नहीं है कि 5 years में आई वुड बी द CEO ऑफ दिस कंपनी या 5 years में आई वुड बी एट अ मैनेजरियल पोजीशन. ऐसा नहीं है. अपने लाइफ से कोई इंसिडेंट ढूंढो. लेट्स से मैंने इस जॉब में बहुत अच्छा काम, मतलब मैंने इस प्रोजेक्ट में बहुत अच्छा काम किया था एंड उसमें मुझे ये चीज बहुत अच्छी लगी. तो आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू यूज माय पोटेंशियलिटीज टू द बेस्ट ऑफ माय कैपेबिलिटीज सो दैट आई कैन रीच अ पॉइंट वेयर मतलब आई कैन यूज दोज पोटेंशियलिटीज टू द बेस्ट. तो कुछ इस टाइप से आंसर देना है कि मैं इस पोजीशन पे इफ आई विल बी देयर आफ्टर 5 years, तो आई वुड बी इन अ पोजीशन जहां पे मैं अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज का पूरा इस्तेमाल कर पाऊंगा एंड आई वुड बी मतलब the type of work that I would be doing is of my interest. तो जनरलाइज आंसर देना है इस चीज का. मतलब यू शुड नॉट स्पेसिफाई कि मुझे ये चीज बननी है, मुझे ये चीज बनना है एंड नॉट, मतलब ऐसा भी नहीं है कि कई लोग बोल देते हैं कि भाई मुझे MBA करनी है इसके बाद, तो दे वोंट सिलेक्ट यू. तो HR राउंड में बहुत ज्यादा मतलब रिजेक्शन हो जाती है जस्ट बिकॉज की दे गिव रॉन्ग आंसर्स. रॉन्ग आंसर्स कैसे, मतलब कंपनी को ये लगना चाहिए कि दिस पर्सन विल स्टे विद अस फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम. मतलब HR राउंड में मेजर थिंग क्या होती है दिमाग में उनके कि दिस पर्सन शुड स्टे विद अस फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम. This person should not be having any problem with relocation and this person should be culturally fit. मतलब ऐसे he should be friendly to talk to and team में अच्छे से काम कर सके. तो ये 3 चीजें मेजरली वो टेस्ट करते हैं. तो अपने आंसर्स को उस हिसाब से यू विल हैव टू फ्रेम कि these 3 things are not violated. अगर इनमें से कोई भी चीज वायलेट होती है तो फिर उनका नो आ जाता है. एंड अगर एचआर मैनेजर नो बोल देता है फिर टेक्निकल राउंड जितने मर्जी अच्छे हो तो तुम्हारा नो है तो नो ही है, राइट?
Yeah, exactly. Like people take it for granted. Like when HR round comes,
नहीं, I have seen rejections in HR round. बहुत लोगों ने HR round में rejection देखी है. I have seen लोगों का technical round बहुत अच्छा गया है. मतलब data structure everything is very well. HR round में they have did this, मतलब these kind of silly mistakes. तो फिर इसके कारण they are not selected.
Not yeah, exactly. I guess what is the right way of to prepare for HR round is to focus upon the set of words we're going to use.
Yes.
I guess that's the only trick we have. So there are some questions in the chat box. Let me take over to that. What are the important topics from the syllabus with respect to placement? I guess that's
CS fundamentals and all, right? If they're asking. So OS, hoops, DBMS and computer networks, these are the 4 subjects. तो इसके लिए I'm preparing, I'm working on these sheets, I'm talking to people, I'm talking to companies, recent वाले जो भी questions that I'll be getting. So I'm compiling those and I'll come up with that soon for all the CS fundamental subjects.
Okay, I guess that's it, Arsh. There are no more questions over here. So, I just want
Ayush, just a second. Yeah. Hello, Arsh. Nice to have you here.
Hi, Pranav.
Yeah. So my question to you is that suppose we are giving an interview and the interviewer throws a question at us, that any question, and he expects 3 types of solutions from us, like brute, better, and best. So if in a 45-minute interview we are not able to produce all the 3 types of solutions, does it reduce the chance of getting selected in an interview? Because
it depends upon the type of interviewer. You'll have to पास अ जजमेंट कि तुम्हारा इंटरव्यूअर कैसा है, राइट? मतलब इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन कि तुम्हारा इंटरव्यूअर बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल है, राइट? ऐसा भी नहीं है कि इंटरव्यूअर वांट्स ऑल दीज 3 अप्रोचेस. लेट्स से उसने तुम्हारा ब्रूट फोर्स अप्रोच सुना, उसने बोला कि इसको कोड नहीं करना, ब्रूट फोर्स तुमने बता दिया बहुत जल्दी, फिर उसके बाद यू मूव्ड अपॉन टू फर्स्ट ऑप्टिमाइज अप्रोच भी तो लाइक यू टोल्ड हिम मोरली, राइट? तुमने कोड नहीं किया. जब फाइनल सोल्यूशन आया, राइट, द बेस्ट अप्रोच दैट यू कैन गिव, जितनी भी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी में दे रहे हो, तो उसका तुमने कोड करवाया. मतलब मोस्टली केसेस में ऐसा ही होता है. अगर इंटरव्यूज ऑफ 45 मिनट्स उसमें 2 क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं, हम ब्रूट से स्टार्ट करते हैं, ब्रूट का बताते हैं कि यार मतलब विल यूज 3 फॉर लूप्स ऐसे करके, कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी वुड बी दिस, विल मूव ऑन टू दिस अप्रोच, इससे हमारी स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी थोड़ी बढ़ जाएगी बट हमारा ओवरऑल सोल्यूशन विल बी गुड. थर्ड अप्रोच इज दिस इज द बेस्ट अप्रोच. फिर इफ द इंटरव्यूअर वांट्स ही कैन आस्क यू टू राइट द कोड, तो उस हिसाब से इंटरव्यू कैन बी मैनेज्ड.
Okay, Arsh, one more follow-up question I had is that there is a saying in the software world that if you are not able to solve 2 complete questions in an interview, the chances of getting selected is reduced. Is it true or is it false?
It's not about that, yaar. It depends upon purely the company's का process. मतलब company का process vary from, मतलब it depends upon from company to company. जैसे Amazon के process में if we talk about तो सिर्फ 2 DSA questions हैं. In each round they'll ask you 2 DSA questions and that's it. If you're able to solve, you're passed. If you're not able to solve, you're rejected. तो ऐसा नहीं है, किसी कंपनी में डीएसए का राउंड ही नहीं होता. मतलब एक राउंड में एक क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं डीएसए का, तो इफ यू आर एबल टू सॉल्व दैट डीएसए प्रॉब्लम इन 45 मिनट, दैट्स ओके. इन सम कंपनीज किसी एक राउंड में ऐसा होता है कि सिर्फ कंप्यूटर साइंस फंडामेंटल्स, जैसे इंस्टीट्यूट में एक राउंड होता है उसमें सिर्फ सीएस फंडामेंटल्स पूछते हैं, डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स पूछते ही नहीं है. तो इट वेरी फ्रॉम कंपनी टू कंपनी. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर 45 मिनट्स में 2 क्वेश्चन, हाँ 45 मिनट्स में 2 क्वेश्चन इज एन आइडियल टाइम. गूगल के इंटरव्यू में भी ऐसा ही होता है. गूगल का इंटरव्यू होता है कि दे स्क्रीन यू, तो उसमें 45 मिनट्स में तुम्हें 2 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने हैं. अगर तुम कर पाओगे तो यू विल बी मूविंग हेड, एल्स नॉट. Amazon के इंटरव्यू में भी ऐसा है, 2 क्वेश्चंस 45 मिनट्स, you will be able to solve, you will move on to the next round, else not. तो कुछ कंपनीज का है, मतलब आइडियल टाइम मान लो 45 मिनट्स में 2 क्वेश्चन करने हैं, मीडियम लेवल के क्वेश्चन करने हैं, इतने ज्यादा हार्ड क्वेश्चंस भी नहीं पूछते. अगर वो 45 मिनट्स में 2 क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं ना, तो ईदर इट विल बी ऑफ लीड कोड मीडियम या लीड कोड मीडियम की थोड़ी सी वेरिएशन. बहुत हार्ड क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछते वो.
Yeah, thanks for the reply, Arsh. Thank you very much.
Thanks for me.
Arsh, I missed a question and I guess that is something you can relate to. The question is, how can I get a job in software industry as a mechanical engineering student?
I believe you should start with see, first of all, nowadays companies are not taking this criteria into picture. Let's say Microsoft Engage, if you talk about. So I have seen people from mechanical who are selected for Microsoft Engage, chemical who are selected for Microsoft Engage. If you're a girl, Amazon Wow is being conducted. Usme bhi there's no criteria for CSE, EC. You can be from chemical, you can be from mechanical. All are allowed. So if you want to get into these companies, try starting from the very second year. So if they feel that a mechanical wala student has this much capability, he is getting into these programs by solving coding problems, so he must be very interested in computer science and subjects. So second year से तुम्हें prepare करना है. Let's say अब तुम third year final year में है, तो कम opportunities हैं, कम companies हैं, that will make you eligible. So try picking a niche, try picking one particular segment, getting into a startup. किसी startup में काम करो कुछ time. Once you work in that startup for 1 year, तो उसके बाद once you switch to another company, तो then there will मतलब ये tag of mechanical, civil, chemical will be removed. तो एक साल है, एक साल you will have to मतलब कैसे भी करके you will have to work in any company startup में. तो startup में you will get jobs बहुत मतलब startup में they just see your skills. If you are working on कोई ऐसे let's say तुम्हारा MERN stack बहुत अच्छा है right, and they need software developer, so they will not see your branch. एक साल तुमने काम कर लिया, उसके बाद तुम switch करते हो, तो फिर there are multiple opportunities, multiple companies are willing to hire you, and तुम अच्छे से switch कर सकते हो.
Okay. I guess there is a question in the chat box, Arsh. Should we be telling the HR about the offers we are having currently if asked?
It depends. It's a generalized question. Depends upon from case to case. We can't say anything on this. It depends upon from company to company. किस type का offer है तुम्हारे पास. So for if somebody is having this problem, you can reach out to me. I'll help you based upon your case.
Okay. Any last tips, Arsh, you would like to give to our college, like?
So the last step would be again build consistency. These 2 months are very, very important. Keep this thing in mind. You will remember this after 2 months when drives will start coming, when internship openings will start coming, and you will be applying. Those time you will realize that these 2 months are very, very important. So I want to make you realize now only that this is a very important time. Don't go around and do anything. Make sure you plan out well, you work around on things, leave everything apart for 2 months. Even if you feel that you are burdening yourself, या तुम्हारी जिंदगी खत्म हो रही है, कुछ भी है, तो 2 महीने है, 2 महीने काम कर लो अच्छे से. उसके बाद जो तुम्हें अचीव होगा ना, तो वो everything will be gone. मतलब you will and mostly मतलब कॉलेजेस में इस टाइम पे वेकेशंस होते हैं, राइट? तो ये वेकेशन वाला टाइम है, अपने घर पे जाओ, घर पे अच्छे से यूटिलाइज करो. और कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. कोई बोलता है मशीन लर्निंग कर लो, वेब डेवलपमेंट कर लो, नहीं जरूरत है अभी. पहली चीज है तुम्हारे फंडामेंटल स्ट्रांग है. जब तक तुम्हारा डीएसएल को फंडामेंटल स्ट्रांग नहीं है और कोई चीज करने की जरूरत नहीं है इतनी खास. तो डोंट बी स्वेड बाय पीपल. ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम्हारा फ्रेंड वो चीज कर रहा है तो तुम्हें भी वो चीज करनी है. मेक योर गोल्स क्लियर and work towards it. That's the last advice.
That's so nice of you. Like, yeah, these are some of the tips which are required right now. We are on semester break right now of 2.25 to 3 months. So I guess people have enough time.
Very important time. Very important time. Please utilize it properly. Maybe we'll meet sometime in your next semester in some other event. So I'll ask you.
And we hope to meet in person.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it from our side. Like, thank you so very much for accepting our invitation, Arsh. It's so nice to have you over here.
Thank you, Arsh भैया.
An insightful.
अगले सेशन में मिलते हैं फिर से.
Thank you, Suraj. Thank you.
मैं एक भी सेशन
Thank you
नहीं
so very
करूँगा.
much.
या मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ कब से सेशन आएगा आपका.
Sure, bro. Sure. All the best for your placement season and internship season. To each and everyone who is present in this call, you are already very aware. जो लोग इस कॉल में आए हैं, तुम्हें बहुत सारी चीजें आज मिली होंगी इस कॉल से सुनने को. तो उन चीजों को ध्यान में रखना एंड उस हिसाब से अपनी प्रिपरेशन करना. See you all successful in coming years. मतलब पिछले अगले आने वाले 6-7 महीने में डिसाइड हो जाएगा कुछ लोगों का कि where you are getting into. So all the best once again to each and everyone.
Thank you भैया.
Thank you so much for joining.
Bye भैया.
I guess you can start leaving now if